Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News and Indian Perspective on All India Radio. This is R.S. Raghu bringing glimpses of the major developments of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring to you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment and more. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates and lays foundation of development projects worth 4,800 crore rupees at Silvassa, reaffirms government's commitment to infrastructure development in the region. Sixth edition of Advantage Healthcare India to begin in New Delhi on Wednesday with a focus on world-class healthcare at affordable prices. First batch of 278 stranded Indians leaves conflict-hit Sudan under Operation Kaveri. Death toll from twin blast in Pakistan's counter-terrorism police station rises to 17. United States President Joe Biden announces 2024 re-election bid. China heading towards social instability as unemployment hits historic levels, says the report. Turkish police arrests 126 people over alleged Kurdish militant ties ahead of election. And in cricket, India announced squad for World Test Championship final against Australia. Ajinkya Rahane returns to team. Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi, said the Union government is focusing on the balanced growth of every region. He said the emphasis today is on satisfaction, not on appeasement. The PM was addressing a gathering after inaugurating and laying the foundation stone for various projects worth 4,800 crore rupees at Silvassa on Tuesday. These include the first ever medical college, Namo Medical Education and Research Institute at Silvassa. He reaffirmed the commitment of the government towards infrastructure development of the region. The PM said during the past 9 years, the government has developed a new work culture that stresses on timely completion of developmental projects and promote ease of living as well as ease of business.
आज नए 5,000 करोड़ रुपए के प्रोजेक्ट का शुभारंभ करने का अवसर मिला है। ये प्रोजेक्ट हेल्थ, हाउसिंग, टूरिज्म, एजुकेशन और अर्बन डेवलपमेंट से जुड़े हैं। इससे ईज ऑफ लिविंग बढ़ेगी, ईज ऑफ टूरिज्म बढ़ेगा, ईज ऑफ ट्रांसपोर्टेशन बढ़ेगा और इससे ईज ऑफ बिजनेस भी बढ़ेगा।
Earlier in the day, Prime Minister Modi flagged off Kerala's first Vande Bharat Express between Thiruvananthapuram and Kasaragod at Thiruvananthapuram Central Station. The Vande Bharat train between Thiruvananthapuram and Kasaragod will cover a distance of around 588 kilometers in around 8 hours. Prime Minister Modi also laid the foundation stone and dedicated various projects to the nation worth more than 3,200 crore rupees. Mr. Modi also dedicated the Kochi Water Metro to the nation. This project connects 10 islands around Kochi through battery-operated electric hybrid boats for seamless connectivity with Kochi city. The Prime Minister also laid the foundation stone of Digital Science Park in Thiruvananthapuram. Prime Minister Modi will inaugurate the 6th edition of Advantage Healthcare India AHCI 2023 in New Delhi on Wednesday through a video message. The two-day event organized by Health Ministry of India will be in New Delhi. It will be attended by health ministers of 10 countries are also scheduled to be present at the event. Briefing media in New Delhi on Tuesday, Additional Secretary of Health and Family Welfare Ministry Love Agarwal said emphasis will be laid on building an ecosystem and forging global collaboration and partnership between the various stakeholders of healthcare industry. He said the event aims to showcase India as the new hub for providing quality and world-class healthcare and wellness services at affordable price. More than 470 foreign delegates will participate in the event. 100 memorandums of understanding are likely to be signed by the stakeholders in the event. Foreign health ministers and delegates will also visit to more than 15 tertiary hospitals, including Ayush Hospital, after the event. India has emerged as a preferred destination for medical tourism in recent years. The summit will witness 125 exhibitors and around 500 hosted foreign delegates from 70 countries. Reverse buyer-seller meetings and scheduled B2B meetings with hosted delegates from more than 70 designated countries in the region of Africa, the Middle East, the Commonwealth of Independent States, South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation and Association of Southeast Asian Nations will bring together and connect the Indian healthcare providers and foreign participants on one forum. 20 delegates from G20 countries arrived in Leh on Tuesday for a 3-day Y20 pre-summit. Ladakh is hosting the Y20 pre-summit from April 26 to 28. About 100 youth delegates will attend different programs organized by the Union Territory Administration. Programs will be showcased with a focus on the involvement of local youth from different backgrounds, including sports, entrepreneurship, art, and medicine. More from our correspondent.
The Union Territory of Ladakh is hosting a 3-day Youth 20 pre-summit under the aegis of G20. Y20 delegates from G20 countries and international organizations today arrived at KBM Airport in Leh. The delegates were welcomed by the senior officers of the UT administration and were shifted to respective places of stay for acclimatization due to the high altitude location of Ladakh. During the course of 3-day summit, there will be discussions and deliberations on different important topics. On the first day of the summit, the delegates will visit local places of importance including Hemis and Thiksay monasteries and Shanti Stupa. On the following day, LG Ladakh, Dr. B.D. Mishra will address the delegates at the Sindhu Sanskriti Auditorium. On the third day of the pre-summit, Union Minister for Youth Affairs and Sports and Information and Broadcasting, Shri Anurag Thakur, will interact with the delegates and also participate in a youth dialogue. As per the UT administration officials, sufficient security measures and other arrangements are in place for the smooth conduct of the program. The Y20 pre-summit in Ladakh will be a valuable opportunity for the global youth to reflect on priority areas in consultation with G20 member states to come up with recommendations that will prove beneficial to the entire Ladakh region. Muzaffar Sanwani reporting for AIR News from Leh, Ladakh.
Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh on Tuesday left on a 6-day visit to London. The minister is visiting as the head of a high-level official Indian delegation. He is scheduled to hold a series of meetings with his counterparts in the government of the United Kingdom as well as with the Indian diaspora, startups and academicians. This will be the first visit of this kind after the new government headed by Prime Minister Rishi Sunak took over in the United Kingdom. External Affairs Ministry of India has said that the first batch of stranded Indians have left Sudan under Operation Kaveri. Ministry spokesperson Arindam Bakshi said in a tweet that INS Sumedha with 278 people on board has departed Port Sudan for the Saudi Arabian city of Jeddah. He informed that INS Tej has also joined Operation Kaveri. INS Tej has reached Port Sudan with additional officials and essential relief supplies for the stranded Indians. The spokesperson said this will boost ongoing evacuation efforts by Embassy Camp Office at Port Sudan. In Sudan, the fighting eased on Tuesday, allowing more foreigners and locals time and space to flee the capital Khartoum. Khartoum has been in focus as the World Health Organization has warned of a high risk of biological hazards in the city. The WHO warning came after one of the warring factions in Sudan seized a city laboratory that stores measles and cholera pathogens for vaccinations. Sudan has been witnessing intense fighting between the army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces (RSF). An exodus of embassies and aid workers has raised concerns about civilian lives if an alternative to hostilities is not found before a 3-day truce ends on Thursday. Since the hostilities erupted on April 15th, tens of thousands have already left for neighboring Chad, Egypt, Ethiopia and South Sudan. Airstrikes and artillery shells have killed around 500 people so far, while over 4,000 have been wounded. This is All India Radio giving you the world news. India's public service broadcaster Prasar Bharati will organize a national conclave on Mann Ki Baat at 100 to celebrate 100 episodes of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's monthly radio program Mann Ki Baat in New Delhi on Wednesday. The inaugural session of the conclave will be graced by Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar and Minister of Information and Broadcasting Anurag Singh Thakur. Information and Broadcasting Secretary Apurva Chandra said the program will highlight the transformative impact that Mann Ki Baat has catalyzed across sectors throughout India, effectively connecting the citizens directly with the Prime Minister and empowering them to become agents of change. And now in today's Hotspot section, we bring you a abridged version of discussion on Prime Minister's Mann Ki Baat at 100, an effective tool of Jan Andolan. The participants are political analyst Shekhar Iyer and AIR correspondent Omvesh Upadhyay.
Prime Minister's Mann Ki Baat program was started on 3rd of October 2014, and since then it has been broadcast on last Sunday of every month on All India Radio and DD Network. The 30-minute program is completing its centenary episode on 30th April 2023. We have witnessed how through Mann Ki Baat, Prime Minister Modi reaches a vast spectrum of a socio-economically and culturally diverse populace through which he inspires and energizes them. And today to discuss on this in detail, we are joined by political analyst Mr. Shekhar Iyer. Welcome to the program, Mr. Iyer.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Iyer, to begin the discussion, I would like to share a survey that recently Prasar Bharati and IIM Rohtak conducted, in which they talked nearly 96% of population is aware of Mann Ki Baat program, and it has reached around 100 crore people with 23 crore regular or active listeners. So, Mr. Iyer, I want to understand from you how big and significant this program has been when you see its reach and impact.
Well, when it was launched by the Prime Minister on a Vijayadashami day, that is on October 3rd, 2014, within few months after he took over as Prime Minister, so it was not taken that this is going to become such a big exercise in a public conversation. And from what has happened in the last over several episodes, and after almost 9 years, what we are seeing is this has become one of the biggest conversational exercise in democracy in the world, one must say. Because the survey done by Prasar Bharati and the Indian Institute of Management of Rohtak has come out with some very interesting details. And also the fact that the persona of Prime Minister, as perceived by the people, by the general people, as well as by the listeners, the people who have been listening to him on over several issues, over several episodes, they have come to a conclusion that here is a person, here is our Prime Minister who is very purposeful, who is very powerful, who is very decisive, who is very strong in his intention, who is committed to the progress of this country. This impression, has come across very strongly to all the listeners, whoever has heard him, majority of them, in fact, all of them feel that through the conversations of Mann Ki Baat, they could sense the personality of the Prime Minister. The second aspect, is a very interesting aspect. On one hand, they see a strong personality, a well-intentioned Prime Minister, a decisive Prime Minister. A Prime Minister means what he says and does what he means. That is one side. The other side is, there is a compassionate side of the Prime Minister. There is a very, very, I would say, a human heart.
Yeah.
On the many of the issues, the way the Prime Minister responded, and the way the Prime Minister has given suggestions, the way the Prime Minister has called upon citizens, brings out that the kind side of the Prime Minister.
Absolutely. And to add in this, Mr. Iyer, you talked about the sympathetic approach that the Prime Minister had. And we have observed this in the choices of the subjects that he chose per se, and also the call of action that he has from the people. So how the PM includes all these subjects in the program, and how these particular changes help to make it a huge hit among the masses?
You see, in terms of themes, I believe there are at least 100 themes that have been dealt by the Prime Minister in all these years. And these 100 themes have included some of the very flagship programs of the government, whether it is Swachh Bharat, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, water conservation, vocal for global, promoting local products. There is the promotion of Khadi, then Indian toys, promoting Indian toys, and then about startups in health ventures, then about Ayush, programs. There are several things he has talked about. But what has happened is, after the subjects came up in Mann Ki Baat, there has been a quantum jump in the way the people have responded to some of these programs. For instance, I am told the Khadi sales have picked up over ever since the Prime Minister took it up in his Mann Ki Baat. And I believe the Khadi Industries Commission have done very well. In fact, their sales have gone up. They have made record profit in promoting Khadi products. That is one. Second is the Indian toys. Prime Minister called upon the people in one of his radio addresses where he said, look, why not let us promote Indian toys instead of imported toys? Why not our children get exposed to the beauty of our toys? There are several toys made in this country which are safe, environmentally safe, and safe for children also. So that has also seen a quantum jump in terms of sales, and that has encouraged the local industry, the handicraft industry. And similarly, there are other subjects, whatever he has taken up. Of course, the famous one is when he called for Amrit Sarovar, when he talked of water conservation, he wanted people, young people to, various villages to, to ponder, to look at their own villages and see how they can conserve water by improving the water bodies, by developing the water bodies. So there have been so many success stories where young people have come together and they have cleaned up that water bodies in their villages or in their panchayat. And when the rains came, the villages were blessed by, readily available storage of water. So this has been one of the great, impacts of subjects being taken up in Mann Ki Baat. And if you look at, I just spoke about the kinder side of the Prime Minister. I remember, whenever he used to talk about, the approaching summer season as we are facing now, it's hot all over the country. And particularly in many parts of north and even east, it is so hot that even animals and birds, they look for water to quench their thirst. So it was Prime Minister's appeal to each citizen, to all of us. Why not keep a bowl of water in your veranda or in your balcony so that the birds, when they can quench their thirst. Similarly for animals, why not leave some source of water on the road so that in such a way that, whether they are passing cattle or whether they are cats or dogs, for all of them. Now, to think of these animals and these birds, it brings out the kinder side of the Prime Minister. And definitely people have responded to this. People felt, yes, of course, many people already do these things, but more people joined in this effort to help one another, particularly in providing, safe drinking water, at least in these hot, scorching months. That's a very good example of how Mann Ki Baat has served to motivate people to think of solutions of very, very common problems.
So then, Mr. Iyer, can we say that with such a colossal impact, Mann Ki Baat can be termed and rightfully termed as a social revolution initiator?
Well, it is a social revolution of sorts because two things have happened. One is, the awareness of issues, awareness of problems. And the second part is, it has, inspired people. It has motivated people to take action. That's a very important side because in the survey that has come, the survey has found, the survey by Prasar Bharati and Institute of Management, Rohtak, they have found out that among the people who have heard, because you mentioned a figure in your opening remarks that 23 crore people have listened to it regularly and there are about 41 crore people who occasionally, switch on the radio or listen to this address. Now, of that, figures, if you see, at least 73% of our citizens, of our people, after listening to the Mann Ki Baat, they have felt very optimistic about their country, optimistic about their lives, and optimistic about the fact that India is definitely making progress in several fields and several sectors. This feeling, the mood of optimism, this feel-good factor has been generated after listening to the Prime Minister in Mann Ki Baat. This is very important. And the second thing is, what has also happened is, 63% also feel, their attitude towards the government. Because normally, we are filled with lot of pessimism and skepticism. Sarkar kya karegi, kuch nahi hoga. This mood has slowly abated. And in turn, trust has come. People feel, no, this problem will be solved. We'll definitely do something. Government is working at it and we must do our bit. This feeling has come. And of course, the most important result of Mann Ki Baat is 60% of people who have listened to this program have felt greatly motivated to do something and also to work for the government in some of these flagship programs. And they have written to the Prime Minister's office. After all, this Mann Ki Baat has had a two-way process. So many people have been writing letters to the Prime Minister's office, to the Prime Minister, giving suggestions for subjects to be taken up, highlighting some problems, giving their solution, and also explaining to the Prime Minister whatever they are doing in their respective field. That is why many unknown heroes, many unknown people who have achieved great things in their own way have been highlighted by the Prime Minister. Normally the Prime Minister even talks to them and their conversation is recorded and played in the Mann Ki Baat, which in turn has inspired, many others. Many young people who listen to it feel, oh, this has happened in such a faraway place and achieved by people with so little resources. That means I can also do it. This motivation, I think, is one of the biggest achievements of Mann Ki Baat. It was a thought process that was triggered by the Prime Minister. See, it was a conversational style, talking to people, talking individually, in a very, very conversational style. Prime Minister used to, face the facts, explain the issues, and put it in such a way even a very common person can understand, and the issues involved, the seriousness of some problems, what he or she in their limited capacity can do and contribute in a bigger way for this nation.
Absolutely. You very rightly said that program Man Ki Baat inspired people to transform their ideas into their works and contribute to nation building. Thank you so much, Mr. Iyer, for joining us today on All India Radio.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
In Pakistan, the death toll in Monday's twin blasts that rocked the Kabul police station in Swat Valley has risen to 17 on Tuesday. This includes 10 police officers and 6 civilians, while one more body is yet to be identified. The police officials are yet to ascertain the exact cause of the explosions, but initial investigation indicates electricity short circuit behind the blasts. As many as 63 people were injured in the explosions, out of which 8 were in critical condition. The explosion occurred on the premises of the Counter-Terrorism Department office of the Kabul police station around 8:30 p.m. on Monday. According to a senior police official, the police station had an old ammunition store in the office and the blast was likely to be triggered by a short circuit. Police has ruled out terror attack angle in initial investigation. In the United States, President Joe Biden has announced his candidature for a second White House term in 2024. Biden made his announcement using a video shared on Twitter with a caption that reads, "Let's finish the job." Biden said in the tweet that this is not a time to be complacent and that's why he's running for re-election. While under Biden's tenure, the United States has witnessed the lowest levels of unemployment since 1969. A 40-year high inflation has marred his economic record. Biden's age makes his re-election bid a historic and risky gamble for the Democratic Party. According to reports, Biden's candidature will also test whether Americans are ready to give the 80-year-old Democrat another 4 years in office. While China is embroiled in border conflicts with most of its neighbors, a recent report has claimed that it is heading towards social instability amid record unemployment. The report by Geopolitics said that the youth unemployment rate is approaching historical highs in China, coupled with various challenges such as debt risks and slowing global growth. The report said that while economic recovery post-pandemic has been uneven, persistent youth unemployment is a concern, especially at a time when a record 11.58 million students have graduated from universities and colleges this year. Unemployment among Chinese urban residents aged 16 to 24 rose sharply to 19.6% in March from 18.1% in February, according to China's Bureau of Statistics. However, concerns about social mobility are now driving some Chinese youth to push back against societal expectations about careers and family. In Turkey, police have so far detained at least 126 people in a crackdown targeted at suspects having links to a banned Kurdish militant group. The mass arrest from across 21 provinces comes ahead of an election that could see President Recep Tayyip Erdogan losing power. According to reports, those held were suspected of financing and helping to recruit for the outlawed militant group Kurdistan Workers' Party, also known as PKK. Those arrested include lawyers, journalists and politicians who could play a crucial role in exposing poll fraud. The main pro-Kurdish party said the arrests were timed to affect the vote. Turks will vote in presidential and parliamentary elections on May the 14th. Turkey's state news agency Anadolu said some of those arrested were linked to street protests as well as child abductions. The banned militant group PKK is considered Turkey's second largest opposition party but has seen thousands of its members jailed, including former joint leader Selahattin Demirtas. To bypass a possible court ban on running for the post, the PKK has fielded its candidates under the banner of a new Green Left Party. The key domestic indices of India on Tuesday logged marginal gains. The BSE Sensex closed above 60,100 points, while the NSE Nifty settled above 17,750 level. Both stocks were up, even as cues from global share markets were negative. A report from the business desk.
The Sensex added 75 points or 0.12% to finish at 60,131. The Nifty at the National Stock Exchange also rose 26 points or 0.15% to end at 17,769. Asian stock markets ended down except Japan's Nikkei, which added marginally 0.1%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng tumbled 1.7% and South Korea's Kospi index plunged 1.4%. Singapore's Straits Times index fell 0.9% and China's Shanghai Composite index slipped 0.3%. The European markets were trading lower today in intraday trade. Oil prices fell around 1% in intraday trade. Brent crude was trading at around $82 per barrel. West Texas Intermediate crude was also trading down at $78 per barrel. Back home, gold prices today fell 200 rupees at multi-commodity exchange for June contracts. The precious metal was trading at around 59,800 rupees per 10 grams. Silver also declined 1,315 rupees to trade around 73,680 rupees per kilogram for May contracts. And in the forex market, the rupee today closed at 81 rupees and 92 paise against the US dollar. Rajesh Lake for World News, All India Radio.
The Board of Control for Cricket in India has announced its test squad for the World Test Championship WTC final against Australia at the Oval in June. Middle order batsman Ajinkya Rahane has been reinducted into the team. Former Team India Vice Captain Rahane played the last of his 82 tests in January 2022 but has been in impressive form in the ongoing Indian Premier League 2020 tournament. KS Bharat has retained his place behind the stumps with first choice wicketkeeper Rishabh Pant continuing his recovery from a car crash in December. The test squad includes 6 specialist batters and 3 spin all-rounders Ravichandran, Ashwin, Ravindra Jadeja and Aksar Patel. Apart from these, the Rohit Sharma-led side features Shubman Gill, Cheteshwar Pujara, Virat Kohli, KL Rahul, Shardul Thakur, Mohammad Shami, Mohammad Siraj, Umesh Yadav and Jaydev Unadkat. And now let us take a look at the major developments around the world as reported in the foreign press. The New York Times reports President Biden's re-election bid is an attempt to defy both Donald Trump and history. The Wall Street Journal reports Turkey's Erdogan faces biggest election challenge over economy. The Japan Times reports Japan to give chipmaker Rapidus 260 billion yen subsidy for new factory in Hokkaido. The Financial Times reports only 10 car makers will survive global electric vehicle battle, says Tesla rival Speng. The Guardian writes European Union plan to ban up to 7,000 dangerous chemicals failing badly, says study. CNN reports NATO chief says Ukraine's rightful place is in the alliance, but Kyiv likely won't join anytime soon. The Globe and Mail reports police in Turkey reportedly detain 110 people for alleged links to Kurdish militants. And now, a quick look at the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi inaugurates and lays foundation of development projects worth 4,800 crore rupees at Silvassa, reaffirms government's commitment to infrastructure development in the region. 6th edition of Advantage Healthcare India to begin in New Delhi on Wednesday with a focus on world-class healthcare at affordable prices. First batch of 278 stranded Indians leaves conflict-hit Sudan under Operation Kaveri. Death toll from twin blasts in Pakistan's counter-terrorism police station rises to 17. United States President Joe Biden announces 2024 re-election bid. China heading towards social instability as unemployment hits historic levels, says the report. Turkish police arrests 126 people over alleged Kurdish militant ties ahead of election. And in cricket, India announced squad for World Test Championship final against Australia. Ajinkya Rahane returns to the team. And now, before we end, let us listen to Mahatma Gandhi's favorite bhajan, Vaishnav Jan, by artists from Romania.
Hello.
with that, we end this bulletin. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.